Welcome to the Dean's Meeting and Advising Session for pre-nursing students at summer orientation at Mercer. I'm Dr. Carol Bokros, Director of Pre-Health Professions Advising on the Macon campus, and I'll start by telling you a little bit about nursing and how to get into that profession at Mercer. At Mercer-Macon, the foundational nursing degree that you can earn is the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, or BSN. That's a 4-year degree that qualifies the student to take the certifying exam to become a registered nurse, which is the NCLEX RN. You might also be interested in going beyond that level someday and earning a graduate degree to become an advanced practice nurse, like nurse practitioner or nurse anesthetist. There are two main ways to get into nursing at Mercer for first-year students. The 2+2 pathway, in which students spend 2 years enrolled in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, finishing prerequisites for nursing school, followed by 2 years of the traditional pre-licensure program offered by Georgia Baptist College of Nursing. End result, as I said, is the BSN at the end of 4 years. The alternative pathway is referred to a 4+ plan. On this path, students can earn a 4-year degree that's not in nursing from one of Mercer's undergraduate colleges as they fulfill the nursing prerequisites. Then they move on to a nursing program. That can take 5 years or more, depending on the nursing school that students go to. We assume that, until you tell us otherwise, that you're interested in the 2+2 plan because you're enrolled in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So you'll be with us for 2 years, and then you'll move on to Georgia Baptist College of Nursing to finish the 60 credit hours and the BSN. I'm going to let the Associate Dean of the Macon Nursing Program, Dr. Bartlett, tell you more about that program.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Bartlett, the Associate Dean of Nursing on the Macon campus. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the pre-licensure program and what to expect. So during your first 2 years in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, that CLAS we've referred to, you're going to be taking 19 prerequisite courses. You're going to aim for a 4.0, obviously, you want A's, but B's are okay. So a 3.0 minimum GPA is what we look for in nursing. Keep in mind that when you do that 2+2 and you finish that first 2 years in CLAS and get those 19 prereqs done and you have your B average, there's a hard stop there and you actually have to apply to the nursing program at that time. That application, in addition to involving checking off that you've completed all the courses and you've met the GPA requirements for science and general scores, you also take a TEAS test. The TEAS test you don't take until your sophomore year, but it's basically, think about it like an SAT Lite. So there is a minimum score for the T's. When you do that 2+2, when you reach that application stage at that, moving into your junior year, you get to decide which campus you want to go to. You can stay in the pre-licensure program, the traditional track on the Macon campus. You would do that if you want to stay in clubs, you do sports, you're in Greek life, you have leadership positions, you're a peer advisor, etc., those kinds of things. Or you would choose to go to Atlanta. There are lots of reasons to go to Atlanta. It's an excellent program. We're very parallel programs. We work in tandem together. But you may decide that you really need to go to Grady and you need to be near Grady because you've always wanted to do their surgical trauma or surgical ED. And so that would be a reason to go to Atlanta. Sometimes, depending on where your family lives, if you want to be nearer or farther away from them, you may also choose Macon or Atlanta. They're both excellent options and totally viable. Once you're in the nursing program, you will be lockstep with your cohort. The group you enter with is the group you're going to take the next 4 semesters of study with. It is full-time. We start in the fall. It runs fall, spring, and fall, spring. So, a couple of other things to keep in mind. One of them is called Special Considerations Program in Nursing. So if you are a CLAS student enrolled as a first-time freshman, sometime around November, you'll start getting emails from Dr. Bokros. Never ignore an email from Dr. Bokros. And in that email, she will remind you it's time to apply for special considerations. Application is usually due somewhere around November 15th, but it is this first year. When you do special considerations, you're agreeing that you really want nursing. You're choosing nursing. You're giving us a heads up that you want to be in our nursing cohort. You're going to take the majority of your credits, 48 hours, at Mercer. You're going to maintain that 3.0 GPA. You're going to take the T's in time. And really, that's what special considerations is. It's a way for us to earmark you as being absolutely interested in nursing. It helps us with advising, it helps us with course placement. It also helps us make sure that we have secured a spot for you on the Atlanta or Macon campus. Both are, again, totally optional when you get to that 2-year mark. So why would you do special considerations program? I talked about, earmarking that spot for you and allowing us to know that you're really interested in nursing. If you're interested in any of the pre-professional health tracks that you want to be pre-med and or something else, you can still do special considerations, but it is preferred that you are indeed going to be a pre-nursing student and you're ready to do special considerations for nursing. It does allow us to save your seat and kind of prioritize you with advising and really make sure that we're giving you the best information and that you're set up for success. The other thing, it's more of a logistics kind of thing, like a task kind of thing, but you do, from a financial aid perspective, have to declare a major. And so you can't declare nursing until your junior year, so you are required to declare a CLAS major in that sophomore year, but if you are a special consideration student, you do not need to take that extra step and declare that major. That will then change to nursing. You can just be a special considerations program in nursing major for those first 2 years. The other thing about SCP is that we do ask that you apply by January 15th of your sophomore year. The reason we have you do that, let's think about this. So the requirements of SCP are that you're finishing those 19 prereqs, you're maintaining a 3.0 GPA in sciences and in other courses, you're on track to take the TEAS test, you're really meeting the minimum requirements of our nursing program. And so because of that, if you're in SCP, we want you to apply early. We open that window for you a little bit earlier than others because we can fast track your acceptance and we can get you a response usually within about 2 weeks. So knowing where you're going to nursing school by the end of January is a huge benefit. The last benefit I'll mention is that you do get priority housing selection in your junior year. So freshman and sophomore year, you'll be as part of CLAS, but if you're special considerations and you're moving into that junior year, there is a housing requirement for that 3-year housing requirement. So you would have priority housing selection for your junior year, which is kind of a nice perk. So just know those are 4 reasons why you might do special considerations program. So why would you do Mercer Nursing? Well, we think we're pretty great. We have a really good reputation in Georgia and nationwide. We really are, we set the stage for you to either stay working as a solid, good nurse. We do have a lot of nurses who move into leadership, charge nurse and or other positions. We also have a large number of our graduates who go back to further their education. We'll talk about that in a minute. But knowing that you're adequately prepared is really important, and that's why we have such a good reputation. When you're looking at nursing schools, you do want to ask, are you accredited? And we are accredited by SAC-COC at the university level, but at the college level, we're actually credentialed and accredited by CCNE. And so recognizing that having that accreditation does allow you to apply for most graduate programs. We also have 2 specific Mercer on Mission trips to nursing. Our first is kind of our homegrown in nursing, and that is a program that is based in India. We've been going there for many, many years. They're leaving in just a couple of weeks. We're very excited to have this cohort take that trip, Mercer on Mission trip to India. It is run by one of our nurse practitioner faculty on the Atlanta campus. There are other nursing faculty who go as well, and that program has been designed and really cultivated by nursing. Nursing students get priority. That's graduate and undergraduate. They do take pre-nursing students on that trip. So if you're interested in doing something related to nursing while you're in those first 2 years, you can always do that Mercer on Mission trip. You can do any Mercer on Mission, but that India trip is really unique to nursing. The other Mercer on Mission trip we're engaged with this year is we're partnering with medicine and headed to Honduras. We, as nurses, we haven't been to Honduras in a while, so going back, Dr. Butts is leading that trip and we're very excited for that trip. Academic success support. So when you're in CLAS, you will have access to the Academic Resource Center, and there's lots of tutoring services therein. When you're in the nursing program, you're very cohorted with us. So by the time you come up, we should have peer mentors and peer tutors in place. We're working on developing those in Macon, especially where we have our first cohort of seniors who are advancing just this year, and our second cohort of juniors are entering in 2026. But let me give you an example of this. So academic success support, we're all in this together. And so one of the things we discovered was that spring semester of junior year, when students were taking their medical surgical course. And that course is kind of the meat and potatoes. It's a difficult course because you're integrating everything you've learned and then applying it. And that application on test questions can be tough. And so we had students who were expressing, how do I study? How do I prep? Can you help me with? And so what the faculty did was we dedicated a time block every Wednesday, and we had open office hours. We were all together in a room and students could drop in. We had some students who came every week. We had some who came once. We had others who came only when they got a personal invitation. We had some who came and actually studied in their groups with just faculty around. There were lots of ways people used this time, but we really flexed to the needs of this particular cohort. And that's something that we can do because that's really, not only is it who we are as nurses and as educators, but really it is the Mercer way. And based on how we're set up and how we function, we're able to have that flexibility. So leadership development is something we are big on. We have leaders all across our campus who really engage in leadership positions in various and sundry ways. But most importantly, we have GBANs, which is our Georgia Baptist Association of Nursing Students. And GBANs is an organization that is local to our college that feeds in to the Georgia Association of Nursing Students, and that feeds into the national level. And so we believe so strongly in this organization by and for nursing students that we actually pay your dues to be a member of this the second you start in our nursing program your junior year. And so at GBANs, there's lots of opportunity for volunteer, mentoring, tutoring. There's also volunteer opportunities for service. And it really does help form the community. There's leadership opportunities to lead certain initiatives and or to be president of the club. At the state level, there's more opportunities. There's delegates for policy provisions that students want to push forward. There's an entire system and process that is very intricate and super fascinating to learn about. There's leadership positions at the state level and then also leadership positions at the national level. It's a really good opportunity to do that kind of development. The last thing I'll tell you is, Mercer is known for its small classes. Sometimes our nursing classes are a little larger because we're cohorted. However, we could really get to know our students because it's impossible to be in clinical. It's impossible to be in simulation. It's impossible to be in lab. We're working so closely one-on-one with students in most instances that we really do form and kind of foster close relationships with students and faculty. And that's something we're really proud to say. So the second thing you want to ask, so I mentioned you want to ask about accreditation. That's one question you want to ask of a nursing program. The other question you want to ask is, where are their clinical partnerships? How are those relationships? Do they have externships, i.e. summer hires, and do they onboard your students, meaning their employment rates are good for their graduates? We're very strong on this front. So in Macon, we use Atrium, now parent agency is called Advocate Health System. They actually have the Children's Hospital that is there. It's fairly new the last couple of years, but it is really becoming a player in pediatrics in Middle Georgia. We have Piedmont Healthcare, Piedmont Macon North. We also have Emory Healthcare, who, believe it or not, is the new kid on the block in Macon. And we have Emory Perry and Emory Warner Robins. Those are two facilities that are associated with Emory. We also, at both locations, both Macon and Atlanta, have contracts with hospice entities, with some home care, some public health entities, and those types of things. So lots of opportunity for clinical. In Atlanta, we have Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. It's also known as CHOA. We have Grady, which I mentioned in my example before. We have Northside. We have a special relationship with Northside. Piedmont, again, also in Atlanta. And then the WellStar Health System is a fairly large health system, and in Atlanta, multiple hospitals. What I'll tell you is that we're premier partners with many of these agencies, which means we get priority when it comes to clinical placement, which also means they recognize Mercer when they're looking for those summer hires and or year-round externs. And we are seeing a large number of our students. We have a 100% employment rate. Anyone who wants a job can have a job, especially with one of our clinical partners. So just know clinical is the other question you want to ask. So, credentialing, accreditation, and then clinical partners are important. The other thing that's important is thinking about your NCLEX pass rate. So our NCLEX pass rate, 91.16, 92.09, 95.65, we're still hanging, even in the subsequent years, we're hanging in that 95, 98 range. So doing very well with our NCLEX pass rate. NCLEX is that standardized exam we all have to take to become licensed. And so knowing that the pass rate is solid and is held strong for many years is a really important consideration. There's a picture on the bottom right of what our skills lab looks like, just because it's on the screen. So thought I'd mention that. The last thing I'll talk about are what are your options for education. So we talked about that 2+2. So at that 2-year mark, you decide you want to go to Macon or want to go to Atlanta or stay in Macon. Again, both are viable options. The faculty collaborate. We have the same exam schedule. We have the same calendars. We really collaborate very closely. We Maconitize some things, and they have some things that are unique to Atlanta. Opportunities are a little bit different, but for the most part, it is the same program with the same outcomes and the same excellent standards that we've had for years and years. The other programs in Atlanta are we do have at that pre-licensure level an accelerated degree, and then we also have, for anyone who has an associate's degree, you can go get your RN to BSN, which means you're getting your bachelor's degree, but you already have the RN. And those are only on the Atlanta campus. The other programs on the Atlanta campus are our graduate programs. So the MSN, we have the acute adult gerontology acute care. We have the adult gerontology primary care. We have the FNP, that family nurse practitioner. And then our newest degree is our psychiatric mental health NP, that Psych NP. All 4 of those tracks are also available at the doctoral level. So you can get the DNP, and all 4 of those tracks are available at the doctoral level as well. You can do the master's and then do that doctoral degree at that DNP, or you can go right from your bachelor's right to your doctoral degree in that DNP. Our students do very well in that program. They've been very well prepared, and they adapt and adjust and really flourish in that BSN to DNP program. The other option is a PhD. You can do a traditional trajectory that you get your bachelor's, your master's, and then go on for your PhD. We do also have that BSN to PhD program. That is really something that a very well-positioned students would do. The level of research, the level of philosophy, the level of just the mechanics of that degree can be challenging. But again, we have had students do it. We have one of our own who has gone on from that BSN, and she's entering into dissertation very soon. So we're very excited to have this BSN to PhD as an option as well. So I will tell you, there are lots of options for nursing at Mercer, both in Macon and Atlanta, and we look forward to serving you. Go Bears!
Hello, everyone. I am Erin Smith. I'm the coordinator for pre-graduate school advising here in the Office of Academic and Advising Services. And I have the privilege of going through your class schedule and kind of walking you through how to read it and understand some things that we have registered you for the upcoming fall semester. So just as you're looking at your fall schedule, it has been created by us, Academic and Advising Services, between Dr. Brokros and myself, based on what you have shared in your online profile. So whether you have submitted some transcripts regarding some dual enrollment credits that you have taken during your time in high school, or some AP exam credits that you've already received, or even if you're awaiting some, we can make adjustments as needed. But as you're looking at your schedule, your UMB one-on-one course equals your first year advising. So your first year advisor will be the instructor of that UMB one-on-one course. So keep that in mind. That is the advisor that you will start meeting with once you move in on campus during their beginnings. As far as how to read the days of the week, so if you have an MWF, that means that you are going to be attending class Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the listed time on your schedule. If you have just a T, you're going to class on Tuesdays at the listed time. If you have a TR, you're going to class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But if you have a course that may be listed twice, so if you go over and look at the section number of that course, so for example, Bio 131 there, it has the same section number, section 4. So it is the same class. It is listed twice because it is 4 credit hours. One of those class meetings will be your lecture and one of those will be your lab. So keep in mind that you are required to go to both of those listings at those times and those days. Um, as far as like maybe a GBK 101 course that you may be registered for, or an INT 101, that is also a 4 credit hour course, so it will be listed twice as well. So do know that that extra class meeting is just to make up for that additional credit hour. If you have a yes listed in that wait listed column there, that means that you are waitlisted for a course currently, and we are waiting some AP exam credits and things that will come in throughout the month of July. So as classes become available, we will be making changes to those schedules, especially if you're registered for a class that you will later receive credit for. If you're wanting to understand how many credits you are registered for the fall semester, that term credits listed right there at the top will tell you the amount of credit hours that you're registered for the fall semester. So that is just a little bit of basics of how to read your schedule. If you have some questions regarding the abbreviations for buildings, if you want to like just do a simple Google search of like Mercer Registrar, when you go to the Macon campus on their website and look at class schedules, there will be a breakdown of the abbreviations for buildings. So don't think that that is something you need to know off the top of your head first thing. And then your first year advisor will also clarify some things as you have questions as well. So, like it has been previously stated, if you're on the 2+2 pathway, you'll be focusing those first 2 years on completing 19 prerequisite courses to help you matriculate into the nursing school. This is the list of those courses. So you will need to have 19 checks on this list. And if you have already received a scan of what you've already been listed as or what you have already completed on this list, you'll have an F26 if that is in your fall schedule. You will have a check or either like a TR if a transfer credit has fulfilled one of those requirements. If you don't have any yet, no worries. It just means that things are pending and being evaluated throughout the summer, so no worries on that. This is subject to change. And do keep in mind that one class fulfills one prerequisite. So don't think that if a class is listed on there twice, that it will fulfill that category, like 2 different categories at the same time. You will need to take one class per section. So that will be a total of 19 checks in that check column. As for the special considerations program, keep in mind that no transient coursework over the summer can be used after you matriculate into the College of Nursing. If you look at the bottom of this checklist, there are some little fine print points to just keep in mind and be aware of as you complete this list. There are some prerequisites needed. So you will need to take Psych 101 before you take those upper level psych courses like Psych 245 and 265. And then you will also need to take Bio 102 in both of your human anatomy courses before you can take your CPV course there. So just keep that in mind as you complete this list.
Okay. All right. All right. So you might have some ideas about changing your schedule. Your tentative schedules were created for you based on what you want to do, and we know it's too easy to make mistakes, and so we created that for you. But it is subject to change. It is tentative. But at this point in the summer, there are very few open seats in any of our classes. So we ask you to sit tight on your schedule unless there's some necessary change you need to make. Like, for instance, you're enrolled in a statistics class this fall and you know you're going to get AP credit for it. Then email either me or Ms. Smith, and our emails are both here on the slot on the screen. We'll need your name and your MUID number and an explanation of what needs to be changed. Now, if you just have a preference change, like you prefer New Testament over Old Testament, or you prefer an 8 a.m. instead of an 11 a.m., then we're asking you to wait until Bare Beginnings, because there will be more availability in the different classes by that time in the summer. AP credit will have come in, like Ms. Smith said, and students will be making other little changes. And so I want you to get what you want as well as what you need, if we can do that. So Bare Beginnings, you'll have at least 2 opportunities to meet with an advisor. And the first week of classes is the add drop period, right? So I know that a lot of you are bringing in dual enrollment or AP or IB credit, right? And you might be ahead on the list of prerequisites. If that's true, and you're trying to get in and out of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in 1 year instead of 2, that is outside the program requirements for special consideration, but I'll see if we can do it, or I'll try and get you in the classes you need when you need them. I just can't promise that if you're only going to be here 1 year. Another alternative, if you wanted to stay for the 2 years, but you're ahead in credits, is add a minor. Most of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences minors are 15 to 17 credit hours, which is like 5 or 6 classes. And so, if you are ahead, you could add those classes depending on what they are and what the sequences are. So if you're in that position and you're going to stay for the 2 years and participate in the special consideration program, minors that have worked in the past would be foreign language, especially if you place out of the introductory courses in a particular language, or business administration or communications, or we have a minor called medical humanities you might be interested in. But this summer you can explore the options on our catalog on the website. And let's move on to advice.
All right, so you also want to make academics your top priority. So keeping in mind that there is that minimum GPA requirement of 3.0 for you to, have your application fully processed by the School of Nursing. So when doing so, just keep that in mind. But as you prioritize your academics, you also want to prioritize on some place on your list of being active on campus, your involvement, participating in extracurricular activities. Once you move in for Bare Beginnings, you'll have the opportunity to attend Bear Fair, where you'll meet several student organizations, and that is when you can express interest in several, sign up to be a member, things of that nature. You'll also have the chance of meeting some of our larger student programming boards, one of which is Mercer. So that is our service student programming board, and they will offer many different service opportunities for you throughout the school year. So do know that that is something, not only can you participate in those opportunities, but you can also be a member of that organization and bring some of your own ideas to it. Outside of taking advantage of student organizations and your involvement, you also want to take advantage of some of the resources that we have to offer you. One of which being GPS. So this is a Canvas course that you will self-enroll yourself in. So just take some time to scan this QR code. You'll log in with your Mercer credentials. So the same thing that you've been using for your email and all things related to Mercer, it'll be the same credentials. Log in, and then that will self-populate onto your dashboard in the Canvas portal. So once you have that, this is what your dashboard will look like. It'll be all of your other courses as well, but GPS will be there. Once you click it, you're going to go over to the home page. Here you're going to see several announcements that Dr. Bokros has posted. It's going to be some research opportunities, service opportunities, clinical experience opportunities, all of those things that you're going to want to look at throughout the school year as they come through. If you have the app, you're going to get a notification from the app and the email. So just whenever you have time, just go through those as you receive them. You're going to see some links here on that home page for you to get some more information on any anything track. So should you want to change your mind and become a lawyer one day or a pastor, you know that you will have access to those information pages as well. But if you come here and you click on the pre-health professions information link, then you will be able to find all of the pre-health track pages. So if you want to change your mind and go to medical school, or if you want to go to OT or any of those things, do know that you'll have access to those preparatory pages. But since you're interested in nursing, you're going to click that pre-nursing track page. You're going to have all these resources that you'll have the next 2 years to review and prepare for nursing school. So do know that you don't have to review these and become well informed of those before you start. You will have plenty of time to go through those. But if you come back to the home page here, you're going to scroll down and you're going to see all of our helpful links for our Mercer Macon Advising team. So you're going to find some information regarding Dr. Bokros of how to contact her, whether you want to email or schedule a meeting with her. You can use all of those links provided. Bear Pulse, she uses it as well as Mercer, like I was mentioning. But if you're wanting to look at some of the workshops and events that Dr. Bokros will host as like pre-health professionals, do know that this is where that will be listed. Whether you need some application feedback, once you get to that stage in your process, or writing experience descriptions for professional school applications, do know that you will have the opportunity to sign up and meet with Dr. Bokros that way as well. The pre-health ambassadors, those are upperclassmen on the pre-health profession tracks, many of which. And so you'll have opportunities to meet with them, to have that peer-to-peer advising meeting kind of sense, where it's more informal advising. So, throughout this academic year, you'll have time to meet with them in the library, depending on your health profession interest. As well as myself. You can find my email there, my office location, as well as my bookings link, so that you can schedule that meeting should you just need some general advising, or if you need some graduate school prep. Like I was saying, if you change your mind and want to go down a different route that's totally different, you'll have access to the pre-law and the pre-theology advisors there. Their emails will be linked if you need to reach out to them. CCPD, so our Center for Career and Professional Development, we have the contact information for Miss Stacy Patola, who is a career consultant there. So should you need some extra help with personal statements or just exploring other programs, and you can't get to myself or Dr. Bokros, do know that they are helping hands as well. They do all of their scheduling through Handshake. So just like you logged in to Canvas with your Mercer credentials, you'll use the same thing to log into Handshake and to activate that account for free. Miss Jonna Wright is the coordinator of fellowships and scholarships. So once you find CCPD in Wiggs Hall, you'll also find them. So should you want to meet to kind of go over some scholarship opportunities, do know that you can do that and schedule a meeting with her via Calendly. As well as Miss Jonna Wright is well informed with personal statements, so you can definitely submit any to her if you would like to. And lastly, Mr. Walter Fuller over in the Office of Student Success is really helpful in helping you get connected to some resources on campus should you have anything that may be negatively impacting your Mercer experience. So just know whether it's something negative or really positive that you want to share, do know that you can share that with that office as well as any of these people on the Macon Mercer advising team here.
Okay. All right.
And so thank you all. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via email. It will be the same emails as your advising questions that you would have from the previous slide. But if there will actually be a photo here of our making cohort, our first making cohort of the nursing program from last year. So enjoy these lovely faces.
And thank you for attending.